Hey, Shalom, Sister Kate here. So, we had this shooting in Christchurch, and the New Zealand, whatever it is, Congress Parliament had already, a day after the shooting, legislation to ban semi-automatic firearms in their country. That's kind of weird that they had that ready to go so quickly after this shooting. That makes me very, very nervous. It's also a really dangerous thing in any country when you disarm the citizenry, because you make them like the sheep with no way to defend themselves. Then the wolves can come in and prey on those sheep. And so what in effect their government would be doing is making all these Kiwis defenseless. Like, okay, yeah, I guess I could defend my home with a hammer, but that's way more dangerous and requires you to be that close to another person to do something like that. Also, in New Zealand, there's a lot of dedicated hunters, and they had nothing to do with this guy going into this mosque and shooting it up. So why should they pay a penalty for what he did? And there will be repercussions beyond just New Zealand for that shooting, because that'll make the United States politicians all get up in arms, pun intended, to then start looking at banning something here in the States. And our Constitution, we have a Second Amendment right that guarantees individual firearms ownership in our country. I don't know that New Zealand does. So if their government takes their firearms, they have taken a universal right to defend your own life. They've taken that away from them. And I looked on the news today, and it's kind of almost like a done deal. Like, yep, this thing's going to happen. Their prime minister's talking about it. It doesn't make any common sense for that to be a good decision. And it's also an illogical conclusion to one person in their country who wasn't even born there. He does something horrific, so punish him. That's how the law is supposed to work. You punish the guilty guy. You don't punish innocent people around him for what he did. You punish him for what he did. And an analogy I like to draw, a comparison, you don't take a whole bag of apples, and if one of them's rotten, you throw the whole bag out. Doesn't make any sense. It's the same. And it's become a thing in the media to follow this illogical thought, and it's kind of almost like hysteria. So what should Americans be looking for doing in the case that this actually passes? You should be making your voice heard about your opinion on this matter. You should be blogging and vlogging and all the things and saying, like, I want to keep my individual rights, because that's part of the brilliance of our government compared to governments around the world, is that we have individual rights guaranteed. So we need to make our sentiments known, and if I were a Kiwi, I'd be doing that right now too, before it actually passes, because their world will be completely different if that happens. Alright, thanks for watching. Bless you. Shalom.